Former Secretary of Homeland Security, Jeh Johnson. Mr. Secretary, thanks for being with us. Thanks for coming into the studio. It's great to have you here and your expertise in all of this.
And welcome to MSNBC, Anna.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. So you heard the reaction after that classified briefing from those senators on both sides of the aisle. They are not happy. Do you get the impression that the Pentagon, that U.S. intel officials have their arms fully wrapped around what happened with this leak?
No, not yet. First of all, I've done plenty of classified briefings to Congress myself when I was in office, and I've never heard them say, I'm completely happy with everything I was just told. They're more often than not unhappy. The big question here is, how is it that a 21-year-old enlisted member of the Massachusetts Air Guard has access to TS-level information? He was a specialist, a technician. I know what it takes to get a clearance for a TS-level.
Meaning top secret, which is the highest level, right?
Correct. And there's a lot to go through. I'm not sure I understand how a 21-year-old can get there, a 21-year-old member of the Guard. He was a technician, which meant that he probably had access to all kinds of data and databases and emails and so forth. It seems as though he had no business looking at the particular documents which were leaked, but because he was a technician, he was clever enough to get access to them and then share them on social media, which was remarkably stupid. Anna, I am somewhat philosophical about this. You have an incident like this, 1 in 10,000, 1 in 15,000, where somebody steals something and puts it online or makes it public, and everyone says, we have to do something about this, we have to clamp down on this. Then you have an entirely different type of incident, a Boston Marathon bombing, for example, which happened 10 years ago. And everyone in Congress screams, how did this happen? Because we didn't connect the dots. We didn't do a good job of connecting the dots. And everyone screams, well, we have to have broader access so that one part of the government knows what the other part of the government is discovering and learning. And somewhere in between is a happy medium. I would be reluctant to see Congress try to legislate classification and access to classified information. It seems to me that is more something appropriate for the regulatory environment.
What do you see as far as what we know at this point as the biggest consequence of this leak?
From what I've seen in public sources, it does not appear to have dramatically changed the landscape in our understanding of Russian and Ukraine capabilities. I am not sure that we've seen the last of this leak. There may be more in the works. There may be more out there that could be far more damaging. Anytime you have a leak like this, I think the most sensitive things to protect are sources and methods, not just what we have, but how we obtained it. And it is dangerously irresponsible to compromise sources and methods in the intelligence community.
Can we come back to what can be done? And you talked about, do you narrow the amount of people who have access to these types of documents? I was shocked to learn that 1.3 million government employees have that top secret security clearance.
I'm not shocked. I'm surprised it's as small as that.
But how can you monitor or understand the interactions that those individuals are having with this kind of very sensitive information?
I think we have to have more rigor in the clearance process. If you have a 21-year-old who's very active on social media, who is seeking and might obtain a TS-level clearance, I think more rigor needs to go into that process. The other thing to mention is simply because someone has a TS-level clearance, in our most sensitive programs, there's a separate process through which you are read into that particular compartment. So simply because somebody has a TS-level clearance doesn't mean they have access to everything that is designated as top secret.
Well, this conversation to be continued. Former DHS Secretary Jeh Johnson, thank you very much for joining us today.